I have a Playdate, so where is my Vampire Survivors clone? Oh, here it is. What are we calling this now? Bullet Heaven? Yeah, not for me, not the way I play this. This is CranKnight or CranKnight, probably that one. Probably nothing to do with cranberries. Released a week ago on itch, not on catalog, but that means I get to play this on simulator, and thankfully with an analog stick. But there are several ways of playing this, as I'll hopefully explain later. The controls are the same though. You move around your knight with the D-pad, and then you have a circle of weapons around you. Every level up brings a new opportunity to either upgrade a weapon or put a weapon in a different slot. 4 slots in total. There is an axe, a wand, a bow and arrow, a sword, or just a plain shield. Not sure how the last one is supposed to work, but like any Vampire Survivors, you start calm enough, but then things start to escalate, and quite dramatically. The crank moves the weapons around you. Pick a direction, and they will spin that way. Which means you can have 4 blades and just become a beyblade of death. Not quite though, because there is an invincibility period for the enemy when you hit it. Also, there is a weight element, so an axe can become a hammer, which can become a giant hammer, and if you have 4 of those, you're on the moving those weapons around no matter how furiously you're spinning. It is quite funny though, and very, very dangerous. Not that you need to spin around though, because if you're like me, then you're playing it wrong. You can just poke people to death. This means there is some exploration to be had with loadouts and knowing which weapons to take. The selection isn't huge, there aren't weapons to unlock here, like in that other game, but there is still some RNG in terms of which free weapons will be selected to be added to your arsenal. That also means there's a period of forced experimentation as you find your perfect build. Mine, a spear at the front, magic wands on either side. This means it stops being an exercise in spinning the crank all over and becomes, shock horror, a twin stick, not shooter. There are a variety of enemies to be beaten, and with that, what we like to call popcorn. Little enemies who are there just to fill out the numbers and thankfully die quite quickly. But the others now get increasingly stronger, so you need to get that DPS in through the upgrades. There's spiders who shoot out webs that can only be escaped by turning the crank when hit. There are ghosts that shoot out other ghosts that when hit shroud your character in darkness, and there are others with more conventional attacks. Don't worry though. There are giant versions of all of these enemies if they become a little bit too easy for you. And it's at this point it's nice to take it in. There's a lot going on and not a smidgen of slowdown. Yes, we've seen this before with the likes of Angel Pop that I still need to review, but this adds big chunky sprites to the party. My wand itself is firing off projectiles in every direction, and there are multiple projectiles coming from other enemies, and this is still a smooth experience. I am impressed. There are downsides though. The randomness does not spread throughout the entirety of the experience. The enemies may spawn in random places, but their appearance itself is predetermined. The level gains are developed to coincide with the end of waves. So when you're at the end of the wave, then there will be just 1 or 2 enemies remaining. And the cycling of the enemies from spider to ghost to those things which pop up out of the ground, their order will forever remain the same as to which one will be the new one, and the special upgrade for the knight's armor will always appear at the same point of the game for every single run. The end bosses are also the same as well, at least I think so. What realistic impact does this have though? It means I'm looking for one loadout. I don't need to adapt once I've found it according to the situation. I just need to find one that works best for all the situations, which is why I stick to my spear, which then turns into a big freaking sword, with my wands that will turn into black holes, which leaves a bunch of death puddles for anyone who dares to follow me. It's not the ideal loadout for particular moments, but it's a good loadout for the entirety of the game. There is also the predictability and experience and how to handle it, which means that at later stages I'm just circling around and turning my sword to face the middle. Yes, I do the same in Vampire Survivors as well, but there is a bigger world there and I can do little spirograph patterns with my circling. And there's also the component of pickups for EXP, which is missing. Here, EXP is automatic. There are health items to pick up, these are few and far between though, but it's always worth to stay on the move and to seek those out. And because the journey is linear with an end boss, it means there is no need for a timer like in Vampire Survivors. How long did the run last? Well, around 10 minutes maximum. I write this on the eve of Panic Season 2 reveal, so obviously some games are being held back for that, but This is available now and it's only available on itch. It's $3. Is it coming to the catalogue? Like Coda, it should. It's good. I enjoyed it. There are also achievements in the game to encourage going back, and I've got 2 secret ones which I have no idea about. So, I should probably look into that. Maybe I can find some secret enemies? The usage of the crank is also a little bit dodgy. It's not a guarantee that the crank corresponds with up on the game when the crank is up. The direction does seem to shift in-game though, so it is possible to get that one-to-one representation between character and crank. But having the knight pointing the sword to the left and having the crank to the right is a bit of a weird experience. I have heard though, when trying to think if Breakout could be done for it, that it's actually harder than it looks to get a one-to-one representation with the crank. Yeah, so I'm willing to overlook it, but it does break immersion a bit. Ultimately though, $3 is relative. For me, that's not even a store-bought sandwich. So yeah, it took me a little over an hour to figure out the game and I enjoyed it. And if there are plans to go back to it, like Vampire Survivors has been supported, then yeah, I'm more than willing to go back to it. And as of right now, there are no comments on the itch page, which makes me a little bit sad. I'm a sad panda. But then, it seems to be doing quite well on the itch Playdate page, so who knows. But ultimately, yes, we know this is a derivative, but it's a well-made derivative, and more people need to see this. So the dev has submitted to catalogue. Hopefully, it'll appear there soon. Have you played it? Or do you just think it looks cool? Or anything at all? There is a comment box down below. Until then, until the next time, thanks all, bye bye.